Psychotherapist and regular expert contributor to O Magazine. In a recent edition, she offered advice about things couples can do to enhance their marriage. Kelley also wrote this book. It's called Myself, an autobiography of survival. And we're happy that she's back to chat with us.
Yeah,
Great
thanks for
to
being
see
here.
you.
Good to see you too. Happy Monday.
We were joking during our chat. Today we're going to save your marriage.
Yep. Because we're the experts.
Well, concrete tools. You know, we're always a work in progress, and we have to make sure that we put it as a top priority if we want to see changes.
And I like that you acknowledge that we're all a work in progress. And I think with relationships, especially long marriages, there's ebb and flow, ups and downs, because the thing is, stages of life change. Kids come in and out of your life, and people change too as we age.
All the time. And so, you know, I see couples at the beginning stages of their relationship, as well as empty nesters or people who have been married 50 plus years, and constantly being able to change things so that you can feel connected and not feel like you're living parallel lives. And certainly the stress of family and job and just managing a household gets in the way. And a lot of times couples come in and report, I really haven't been giving it my all. And if I make some small shifts, maybe in my thinking or in my behaviors, it could really change in terms of the connection that you have in your marriage.
You suggest knowing your love language is important. Why do you think that it matters when it comes to knowing yourself, but also knowing your partner?
So many times we expect our partner to know what we want, and I really work with couples on communicating, asking for what you need. And so if you know what you need, it's easier to communicate that. So if my love language might be physical touch, and that doesn't just include sex, it includes, you know, a hand on the leg or rubbing your back, that if my partner keeps giving me words of affirmation and that's not something I need, then if I can communicate the physical touch is important to me, that might not be my partner's love language, but they will certainly be more mindful in giving those things to me.
Well, we've talked about this, and I wonder if you communicate what your need is and your partner is either unable or unwilling to give you what you need, then what?
Well, I work with couples too who are navigating if this relationship is the right one for them, and maybe their needs have changed or their partner isn't meeting their needs in spite of having asked numerous times, and then we need to look at different outlets and say, you know, maybe we're better off not being together. And I think something that couples often think is we have to stay together for the kids. And I really think that's a misconception, because sometimes that can do more damage for kids in witnessing a relationship that's not as healthy as it could be.
Yeah, too much turmoil.
Yeah.
Okay, so when we talk about fighting and the way couples get along, what are the two things? You said there's two things, I think most people can guess them, that are the two biggest things couples fight about. What would they be?
Two biggest things are sex and finances.
Yeah.
Most people aren't fighting about too much sex. Usually they're fighting because one person doesn't feel like they're getting their needs met. And being able to openly discuss that. People have a hard time even saying the word, much less in a safe environment like in my psychotherapy office. Couples, sometimes I'm surprised, have never even talked about their sex life with one another.
Really?
And so they just assume what the other person needs, or they've said, yeah, we've been doing that, but that hasn't really been working for me. And I'm like, why didn't you say something? So there's a lot of aha moments that happen by just opening the conversation.
And money's a tough one. I think there's so many layers to that.
So many layers, because we all come from very different backgrounds. And so if you had one partner who had lack and another one who had a lot of excess money and trying to bridge the gap, that's so much of what the work is. You know, we have people at opposite ends of the spectrum. I'm trying to help them get to the middle and really make progress there.
It's a different mindset. You've got these action items, because a lot of people, they might hear what you're saying and they say, okay, but how do I fix it? These are some things that you think people can do to help them just bridge that process a little.
And simple things.
Yeah, send a sexy text. That's easy.
Yeah, even just letting somebody know you're thinking about them. We love the way that can feel.
I like that. The second one, think of the 5 things you say that about our partner that upset us. Focus on a few things they did that we appreciate and find gratitude in it.
We have a tendency to focus on the negative, and so it really is stopping the automatic negative thought. We can all say, gosh, this isn't working, but something is working. And if it's not, then you probably need to get out of the relationship. But the positive can shift that too.
You say initiate a date or weekend away. It seems like, especially if you have kids, that I can see would be critical.
Yeah, and I call it a save your marriage fund. You know, put money away so that you can go out on a date or do an overnight at a hotel. It doesn't have to be extravagant. Sometimes my husband and I joke and say, like, going to the grocery store feels like a date sometimes.
Well, we said cooking together, you know, something like that.
Yeah.
It can be that simple. It's just that quality time together.
Quality time, absolutely.
The other one was take time to be present at the end of the day and check in and really listen to one another. And I've had a couple that has a really great marriage, at least from the outside, you know, but talk about the fact that that's something that they do as they sit down, and whether or not he's interested in what she wants to talk about, he sits and listens.
Thank you. That's true, because
Yeah.
a lot of times we might not be interested.
Yeah. And it's the truth.
And we want to check out. You
Yeah.
know, we're tired, we sit on the couch, and, you know, there's multiple screens out. So just put it down and be present. You know, 5 minutes can make such a difference.
Yep.
I love that. And give each other feedback.
Constructive criticism, I love it. Tell
Yeah.
somebody what is not working and say, I would like for you to make these changes, or it really upsets me when you forget the gallon of milk I asked you to bring home from work, you know, and then they have an easier time hearing that feedback and will be more likely to implement that.
Yeah, I like what you said in O Magazine too, that it takes two to
Yes.
truly work on a relationship. That each person needs to be self-aware and reflective of their role, whether it's positive or negative, which I think is huge.
Has to be. You can't have one person in the relationship doing all the work.
Yep.
You have to have two equal partners.
So
Good.
true.
Yeah, and you can go to our website to learn more. We rewatch this